Live. Are we live? And we are live. Okay, folks. So I have not been reading USA Today. I've been catching references to articles by this guy, Nick Penn something. Penzen Standler. Penzen Standler? Whatever. So Nick has been writing a series of anti-gun articles. I think Nick is a piece of crap. So let's just throw that out there and get it on the table. Nick is from the wonderful state of Wisconsin, where I've spent a stinkload of time, but not with people like Nick. Bending Ballistics, how's it going, man? So, Nick did an article on conspiracy about well, so Nick's articles have a premise in the title that's not backed up by his investigative reporting, and it's just a whole bunch of fluff and BS. So with that, let's see, where's my Canva? Oh, so that's why. Shoot, how do I get rid of that? Oh yeah, that's why I'm saying he says Desmond. Oh, I gotta share my screen. That's why I say he says the boys dressing as girls and dancing for pedophiles is okay because I'm using the same journalistic integrity as Nick, pictured in the middle, and he says the 2A boys are not okay. So I want to shout out to Bending Ballistics. How's it going? Bob, how are you, sir? Johnny Three Bar, good morning, gentlemen. It's still morning for a few more minutes. So, yes, my friend Nick is a total piece of crap. Let's see. So, I don't know if I did something on his last story, and I'm using Vivaldi browser because let's see. I'm looking for Nick's articles because it doesn't post. They have like an ad blocker wall, but let's just Nick P, whatever his name is. He's a reporter for USA Today's investigative routine team, but he really doesn't. I mean, he's really just a propaganda mouthpiece. Let's just get that out of here. Um, but yeah, Nick is just anti-gun POS. Let me see. If I type gun conspiracy, see, I know I did this the other day. Oh yeah, so gun silencers or solvent traps, why homemade gun devices are back in the ATF's crosshairs. He talks about, I think the article got rebranded with a new title, and they're talking about conspiracy theories on this. Yeah, there's no conspiracy theory on this. Um, okay, so for dedicated gun enthusiasts in the gun lobby, the move falls under the same category. It's no conspiracy theory. They're coming for your guns. Well, when the ATF's coming for your guns, I don't think it's a conspiracy theory. Wow, I got to say hi to Frag Out. How's it going? Eating waffles and watching you. Warsaw Patriot, good morning. Good morning. And as long as the waffles do not have scorpions in them, you're good to go. So, yeah, Nick wants to make gun people seem as nutbag as possible. This is a very wordy and lengthy article. Um, he claims there's conspiracy theories. I don't know where the conspiracy theory is. That was the premise of this article by the esteemed investigative reporter. ATF rated manufacturer building, blah, blah, blah. Um, Again, if they're coming for your guns, I don't know how it's a conspiracy theory, but I don't know what his premise of conspiracy theory and fluid traps was on that article. And again, the masterful um, writing and investigative reporting by our buddy Nick at USA Today, fit to line bird cages. Let's see. Uh, Mexican waffles. Okay. So, just a hobby or reckless marketing gimmick? The world of kid gun influencers. Now, Grant Davis, I talked to their dad yesterday. of Grant and James, and they're going to be coming on the show today. We're doing like we didn't schedule a broadcast today for John Crump Live. Typically, we do Monday to Thursday. Our last broadcast was going to be last night, but because this article broke yesterday and I was driving most of Florida yesterday, I didn't get to comment on this. So Grant Davis has the perfect AR-15 for you. So he's already misrepresenting it as though the kid is advertising an AR-15 for the public. He isn't. It has a muzzle brake. I don't know many AR-15s that have a muzzle brake. Typically, they have a flash hider, unless he's talking about the Hyperion Arms muzzle brake, which is different. But for straighter shooting and extended magazine release for faster reloads and a tactical handguard. Are there tactical handguard? Honestly, I don't know. Are there untactical handguards? In tactical handguards, I'm not sure what a tactical handguard is. I'm assuming like tactical handguard, he means something with quad rail M-lock, key mod, something. I don't know. Squeezing off rounds synced to music, like Gun Drummer. I don't know. I mean, look, I I I met these kids at Iraq Veteran. These kids are killer. I don't have my 50 cal. My 50 cals right here. Um, Grant shot my 50 cal like a pro. That kid's got skills. That's all I got to say. Oh no, not Grant. It was James, I guess, not Grant. Because it was the 14-year-old. Grant's about to turn 10. He's part of a burgeoning group of kid gun influencers, kidfluencers nationwide, and half of the 2A boys with his 14-year-old brother James. There's a handful of so it's not an epidemic of kids shooting guns, which is okay, but burgeoning group, yeah, there's a handful. Mm, good reporting. And so yeah, Instagram post from the 2A boys. It'll actually they're Florida guys. So very cool. I've had a couple of long conversations with Grant and James's dad. Great guy. Um, we go to the same places in Florida and shoot. Cool people. They're relative newcomers on the scene, but they're competing as breakout stars this year in the Gun Influencers social media contest known as the Gundies. Winners take home a $3,000 prize pack from PSA with a new AR rifle and 9mm pistol. I don't get me wrong. I think PSA are like the chaddest of chads. But a $3,000 prize with the amount of ammo that anybody in this field goes through, an AR-15 and a 9mm pistol, not a big price. And they're nice things. Don't get me wrong, great thing. But if you're competing in the 2A space at matches, a $3,000 prize and a new AR and a 9mm, it's nice, but it's not Jerry Miculek kind of sponsorship here is what we're talking about. Relative newcomers on the scene. Yeah, I read that. So I guess the Gundies are bad because there's kids in the Gundies. But these kids haven't done anything wrong. It's not like they're dancing and drag for pedophiles, which I'm sure our buddy Nick at USA Today would be okay with. And I'm an investigative YouTube reporter in I'm actually the top FRAS in HCSC. That's FRAS Flying Rich Autonomous Zone and Hughes Compound Southern Command. I am the top investigative reporter at FRAS, and I've won awards that I've given to myself at FRAS. So the niche marketers with their de facto poster child, Autumn Fry, an 11-year-old gunslinger. Oh my God, dude, the wordsmithing here, really. Look, she's a girl. She knows how to shoot. This would have been nothing to speak about 20, 30, 40 years ago, where kids drove to school with their guns in their pickup trucks and went shooting on their way home so they had something for dinner. Um, this is really disgusting how this guy writes this. I'm sure if he wrote an article on Desmond is fabulous, he wouldn't say, the bait for pedophiles or something like that. He'd be like, oh, this is fantastic. Um, so yeah, she's got 240,000 YouTube subscribers. Baller number. Good for you. Um, have drawn scrutiny from gun control groups, state government, and recently the White House in its new Office of Gun Violence. Oh, okay. So Nick is gobslobbering the member of the new White House gun violence prevention. So they're gonna like target kids. So that's their marketing. So just like the government works with media on things, that's what our buddy Nick is doing. Dudes who write articles like this never. Yeah, dude. I'm so frag out. You're right on, man. You were right on, and probably never had a heterosexual relationship either. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but just say. And Coop, what's up, perp? So, marketing guns to children is abhorrent, but putting, slutty novels in their library, that's a constitutional right. Oh no, I remember the Second Amendment right. I don't remember prostituting and pornography for kids being in the Constitution Bill of Rights. Somehow I missed that, but we know Nick is okay with that because Nick's a famous USA Today investigative journalist. Um, the shameful practice of prostituting kids in drag for pedophile. Oh no, I'm sorry. Shameful practice of gun manufacturers using social media to encourage children to purchase deadly weapons. The White House spokesman Jeremy M. Edwards today told USA Today, "This is especially alarming when we know that guns is the number one killer of kids." So, yeah, no. Um, That is only include when you include the age of 19, where kids are in gangs and killing each other with guns. Otherwise, it's swimming pools is the number one killer of kids. But there's no White House task force against swimming pools. But dihydrogen monoxide is a deadly killer in many ways. But people don't realize that. So show me an instance where one of these child social media personalities that are using firearms have done something illegal or injured. I'll, maybe scraped a thumb or so loading a magazine. Show me where they have caused injury to somebody else. So there's no correlation or there's no causation, let's just say. What they're citing here is correlation without causation, and saying that because there's gangbangers, these kids shouldn't normalize social media of young adults, teenagers, whatever, with firearms. And so here's what they're worried about. And many commentators in the social media conservative space say that the left will let you know what they're most afraid of, like Donald Trump, or that it's normal for kids. So if you get to the kids before they go to college and get fully socialized and have their brains made mush, if you let them understand what a firearm is, how it works, and how it's a tool, you're going to totally crush the narrative of the anti-gunner, and that's what they're most afraid of. So that is where they let the secret out of the bag here. They want to make sure that no one gets knowledge and understanding of firearms, because we're only afraid of what we don't understand. And if you don't understand a firearm, you can be afraid of it. You can be taught to be afraid of it. And that's what they're going for here. So yeah, we're Coop says, yep, task force to make people lock up their cleaning products. Yeah. So let's go on. Most states have age minimums to buy or possess firearms, either 18 or 21, but almost all offer exceptions for hunting or shooting with parental supervision. Yeah, so, and the bad part is, this is especially alarming when we know that guns are the number one killer of kids. White House spokesman Jeremy M. Edwards, who's never held a gun in his life and doesn't know anything about firearms, other than chomping at the bit of the liberal agenda. President, I'm sorry, the former Vice President Joe Biden signed an executive order in March encouraging the Independent Federal Trade Commission to study marketing tactics aimed at minors. Now, I'm not a minor, I'm in the gun community. I have absolutely, honestly, zero knowledge of any advertising towards minors. This is oh holy cow! This is a hail mary play. There, you can't connect those dots. Chris from the 740, what's up? Ron Bear, Gizzard Gary. Hey Gary, thank you for consuming my social media. I appreciate it. So gun marketing. Oh yeah. Uh, Gun marketing to kids has a long history. All right, so that statement is not really backed up by this premise. So let's read the rest of this paragraph. Dating back to the National Rifle Association ads in magazines in 1907, calling on boys to become a junior marksman or organize NRA rifle clubs in their school to instill principle of manhood and loyal citizenship in youth of land. Yeah, I I'm assuming if Nick had like how to transform your kid into a gay Desmond is fabulous dancing for pedophiles book or organization, he would be promoting it. But you know, investigation. Are gun advertisements in the FTC's crosshairs? Critics decry toxic messaging as firearm sales soar. Kids can't buy guns. You got to be 18 or 21 to buy a firearm legally. So again, intellectual honesty is out the freaking window here. I don't know how many paragraphs we're in, but I don't see him making a point here. I see a lot of premises in a lot of flowery language to like coax you to believe his premise, but there are no facts. The control group, Sandy Hook Promise, issued a report this fall. All right, so I'm gonna channel like Archie Bunker. What my favorite scene in All in the Family was he said, "Well, when you get on a plane, they ought to hand everybody a gun, and then when somebody stands up, you say, yeah, yeah." Pretty much that's my argument. Um, Democrats have created gun-free zones so that reasonable people would see the dead, bloody bodies of children massacred in these gun free zones and think that guns should be eliminated. Mind you, in the last 50 years, all but three mass shootings have happened in gun free zones. Hmm. Who planned that? The Democrats planned that. Democrats planned for kids to die in schools in gun free zones. That's a creation of the evil Democrats. That was their plan. So back to the beginning of the paragraph, the gun control group, Sandy Hook Promise, issued a report this fall detailing how firearm manufacturers are targeting new generation of buyers and enthusiasts. I'll have to read that report, but yeah, I have not seen it. Among the trends they called problematic is the proliferation of influencers too young to have their own social media pages, let alone purchase firearms. Yeah, okay, whatever. Because kids are the best messengers to other kids, the success of these channels underscores the fact that companies are paying them clearly know that they are marketing to children, the group wrote. Honest, I'm not shilling. I'm not being straight up here. I have zero knowledge of any firearm company paying kids. This is just crazy. Uh, it says the fact that companies are paying them clearly know they are marketing to children. I mean, you're talking about YouTube paying them? What are we talking about? They're not making the point. So let's continue on in the read. The report called the accounts of Tactical Mia and Autumn, I guess Autumn's Armory. I don't know Cheyenne Dalton and the Survival Sisters as influential preteen teens and teens in the space. Representatives for Tactical Mia, and I don't want to name people's last names. I talked to Tactical Mia's dad yesterday. Declined comment for the article. Both responded with warnings not to publish their images, content, their videos. Um, and it looks like he goes on to publish one of the girls' videos or like this. So images, content like this, logos. Operators of the popular accounts said their posts are purely entertainment and not a financial gain. Look, I don't even care if it's for financial gain. If so, what you're telling me is what Brandon Herrera does, what Demo Ranch does. What it's okay if you're 18 or 21 or older, but if you're younger, it's not okay. Realistically, they probably this guy's probably more worried about Call of Duty. I'd have to check his article catalog to see if he wrote about how bad Call of Duty is raising up your next generation of mass shooters. A single brand mention. All right, so here this is really sketchy AF. A single brand mention on Autumn's YouTube page, however, could bring $400 to $3,000, according to estimates by the marketing analyst company Hype Auditor. Um, yeah, but you're just conjecturing. There's no fact. It has not happened. You're saying it could happen. So this paragraph has zero the F meaning. Um, Her top video has 3.3 million views of her small hands manipulating a Desert Tan SIG 9mm, I'm sorry, 6 hour 9mm M18 pistol. She also sells autographed shell casings for $10, or you can use discount code AUTUMN for your youth sized body armor at Premier Body Armor. Oh no, there's a body armor discount code? Lordy, lordy. Mia's competition shooting videos, ammo, and shooting jersey with her name are sponsored by Laser PNR Ammunition. Others are listed as sponsors for her hearing protection, targets, optics, eye protection, holsters. Named financial backers also include the NRA. Not the NRA! Gun advertising became a flashpoint in the aftermath of Sandy Hook shooting and $73 million legal settlement over Remington. Yeah, that was a mother effing bad thing. So realistically, you got to understand each of these points he's making. To basically, the insurance company figured it was easier to pay than defend the case, and they let the company go bankrupt. So it was a financial convenience that this settlement occurred over its advertisements aimed at troublemen. Yeah, no, that just wasn't true. Then after the Robb Elementary shooting, I'm not even familiar with that. Congress called the CEOs of top gun manufacturers to testify on a panel. Among them was Daniel Defense's Marty Daniel, who said the company deleted an ad featuring a child after the Uvalde. Yeah, that's just being sensitive. That doesn't mean it's like we're advertising kids. It's like, oh no, let's pull the kid. That's not what it means. Again, he's like kind of like pulling things together, trying to stitch up a narrative that's just full of crap. We took this ad down, although we had a good message. And I don't know Marty Daniels, never met him, never talked to him. Never talked to anybody at Daniel Defense. But that the context of the way this reporter, Nick, is trying to portray it is not what it was. This is just, hey, you know what? Maybe you shouldn't run ads on that crap when something happens. And that's just the world of advertising, the way of life. For Fred Thrasher, posting on the Survival Sisters accounts after offers a window into the family's way of life. Like that's bad. What are we talking about here? Uh, I don't think it's bad. He hosts his four daughters. I'm not going to name their names on the channel that features shooting, but also ditch medicine, emergency bleeding control, survival camps, and drills on how to react to a mall shooting. Help me out. Which one of these things is bad? Where where are we going wrong here? Somehow that's wrong. So if dealing with mass shootings is bad because the Democrats created mass shootings, um, how is learning how to react to mass shootings bad? But let's continue on. We don't cater to children. Our target demographic is moms and dads 35 to 65, Thrasher told USA, adding that no companies pay to sponsor the channel and that the survival camps they host aren't lucrative. The two-night camping, close quarter combat gun and knife training events cost $199 to $500 for a family of four. No one wants to market guns to children. Ding, 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 mofo. They're not influencers. They're just living their life, Thrasher said. And of course, if his kids were all cross dressing and dancing for pedophiles, Nick would be okay with that. So, let's see, where did I leave off? This is our time together instead of screen time. We promote family and skills in critical thinking, but they're not obsessed with guns. Thrasher noted, of course, they're not obsessed with guns, is what every gun obsessed person says. All right, Nick, you got me there. You got me there. I think I need to call Crump and Dark. Thrasher noted that unlike rap videos, none of his content promotes crime, glamorized firearms. He says it's an added challenge to be a family of black shooters and women in an industry dominated by white men. Amen, brother. I am so okay with that. Look, I'm okay for the Pink Pistols. I've actually reached out to Pink Pistol groups that's, the LGBTQ community that wants to learn about pistols. I don't care who you are. You want to learn firearms, how to protect yourself. I'm happy to meet with you and train you on that. Not that I'm an NRA trainer or anything like. I do want to get that qualification. No one wants to market guns to. I'm just going to skip that. He's also acutely aware of the politics surrounding both firearms and children influencers. He said he's advocating for responsible gun ownership. Hmm, responsible gun ownership. Yeah, I guess that's a good thing. But the way Nick is writing it, it's casting dispersion upon his premise, saying, "No, no, I'm for responsible gun ownership." He's a gun nut. That's what gun nuts say. His four daughters declined to be interviewed. Yeah, why not? I wouldn't want a young kid talking to a investigative journalist that's looking to entrap them. Keith Davis, good guy. The father of the 2A boys, Grant and James, great kids, echo that perspective. He says he shot competitively in high school and is showcasing a family hobby. The boys declined comment themselves through Davis. Yeah, smart. If you watch my kids' content, they're obviously well trained. I've seen that in person. They're not doing anything unsafe. I have seen that in person. I think what they're doing as a modern martial art. Yeah, yeah. I don't care what you call it, and we have a Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms. Take your kid to a karate class. What is that teaching them? Self-defense, discipline, and a strong work ethic are three important life skills for a man to have. Amen, brother. I gotta say, I talked to Keith Davis. More than an hour flew by. We had a great conversation, and he was on the show, I believe, last week, and going to be on the show today. John Crump Live. Davis says they don't have paid sponsorships with or accept in accept in any kind gifts from any brands, but would consider them to offset their growing ammunition bill. Some of the kids' posts feature them as unpaid ambassadors. You mean somebody shared a post with like gear for Garrasar shotguns and Hyperion munitions? I know that company. I know the people working for that company. They're all good guys. They're all normal Second Amendment people. This is just crazy crap, and they're local to each other. So the 2A boys in Hyperion munitions are like close by geographically, so it just makes sense. Uh, Hyperion Munitions that provides free samples in loader guns at range events. The brands then repost content of the boys shooting their products. So yes, we were all at the Iraq veteran shoot. Um, the guys from Hyperion were there. I shot their stuff. The the 2A boys shot their stuff. This is just crazy, crazy. Davis and his wife hold the keys to the social media account, in part to shield the boys from negative feedback online. It's funny, I don't read most other social media comments, but other people usually point them out to me, and they're usually quite enjoyable. He also says their firearms are safely stored while not at the range. They're aware of the politics involved in the way we live our lives, he said. We believe in freedom, and the naysayers have the right to say what they want. Amen, brother. Like I always say, I believe it's a Voltaire quote. I'm going to butcher it. While I disagree with you, I will defend your right to say it with my life. I fully believe in that. Whereas this USA Today reporter, Nick, wants, all guns erased from the planet, which nobody has that magic switch to erase all guns from the planet. But okay. Rachel Albers calls herself a marketing muckraker. She took an interest in influencers while researching upcoming book on all kinds of kidfluencers, momfluencers, and family vloggers. Her biggest concern about young gun influencers: kids have a hard time discerning advertising content from entertainment. Mm, I'm not sure there's a difference, but whatever. Studies have shown that until 8, you pay the same attention to the ad as the show you're watching. But nobody's paying these kids to be in commercials, so it's just kind of crazy. Any children tend to pay more attention and trust information coming from a peer. Because it's YouTube, I can't go into conspiracy theories, so I'll have to just drop that. Albers said some kidfluencers may not have paid brand contracts now, but are basically unpaid interns laying groundwork for future paying gigs. That's the whole planet. She blamed the NRA, the NRA boogeyman, and manufacturers for cultivating gun culture aimed at younger and younger audience. Um, but I guess Albers would be okay with kids dressing and trans and dancing for pedophiles. That'd be okay, younger and younger. But oh my God, a Second Amendment right. Guaranteed. I shouldn't say Second Amendment right because it's not a Second Amendment right. Our rights are given to us by God. The Second Amendment tells the federal government to F off and leave my rights alone that already existed, my pre existing rights. She thinks restrictions on this type of gun marketing should be the least controversial of gun control reforms. So and again, here is where they're telling what they're most afraid of. What they're most afraid of is showing that, um, any one of these kids that barely have double digits in ages can shoot an AR-15, as opposed to what was that idiot reporter's like, I have PTSD from one shot on an AR-15. It was like a bazooka going off. You mean a recoilless rifle? It was like a bazooka going off. The blast, the this, the that. Uh, so what they want is the misrepresentation that adults shooting an AR-15 is somehow like, launching a howitzer. It's not. But so these kids do a couple of things. One, they blow um, all of their premises out of the water. That they say kids. Well, they want to tell you that these are weapons of war, assault weapons. They cause PTSD, all of that crap. This is things they have reported. But when you have a child, a female child with, 10, 11 years old, shooting an AR-15 saying, "Okay, daddy, can I shoot again? That was fun." It blows their argument out of the water. So, yeah, Albers cited a variety of options. States could enact stricter marketing rules, social media companies could crack down, and the FTC could put better rules in place and enforce them. Go F yourself. So if the same kids dressed in drag and dance for pedophiles, they'd be okay. But because they're exercising their rights, that's not okay. California enacted regulations on gun marketing to kids. And again, my premise is there is no gun marketing to kids. Recently blocked by a U.S. appeals court, and Illinois recently passed a law that requires parents to put kidfluencer revenue in a trust until the child turns 18. Yeah, that sounds reasonable. Meta policy dictates that anyone under 13 years old is prohibited from using Instagram and Facebook. All right, so yeah, there's all sorts of regulations about kids using social media. The company cracked down on the sale of use of weapons and ammunition and explosives on their platforms. First off, nobody understands. I'm assuming Nick doesn't understand a 4473 and how firearms are transferred, but okay. But groups, individuals, and companies routinely find creative tactics to avoid detection and evade enforcement. I'm I don't want the ATF kicking down my door, so I'm not doing any shady crap like that. That's not happening. Social media companies, including YouTube, must adhere to Children's Online Privacy Protection Act and specify whether content is made for kids in 2019. Yeah, so basically, all of us YouTubers, we have to check a box: not kid safe, not made for kids. YouTube's channels for Autumn, I'm not going to say the last name, Tactical Mia's pages are not designed as designated, made for kids under FTC's rules. Yeah, okay. So, um, I don't know what point he's going at here. And would not appear in YouTube Kids, said that YouTube spokesperson, whoever. Content that doesn't violate the site's community guidelines can still be flagged as inappropriate for viewers under 18, only accessible by those confirmed to be 18 or older. But Choi said neither Autumn nor Mia's content met the bar for age restriction. Lordy, you could see people shooting guns on YouTube. Unbelievable. Bob, yeah. Don't forget, an AR-15 shoots a 50 caliber bullet and weighs more than 10 moving boxes. Actually, I was gonna say my AR-15 does shoot 50 cal. It doesn't. It doesn't. But yes, 50 BMG. Because anyhow, let's not go into caliber specific minutia. Uh, some young creators use their platforms to complain about censorship and shadow banning. Autumn switched her post from YouTube to the blockchain based Odyssey. Well, that system has much looser restrictions. Critics also have called it a safe haven for neo-Nazis. Oh my gosh, now kids, guns, and neo-Nazis are like this. Representatives from Forge Relations, the North Carolina marketing firm that hosts the Gundys, did not return messages because they're sleazy people. That's why. No, why? Why would you talk to somebody that has an agenda to portray you negatively? That's you've got to be particularly skilled to communicate with somebody like this Nick dude from USA Today that hates guns. Just the short of it. Neither did popular gun sellers like PSA or Brownells. Yeah, yeah. A ceremony is scheduled in Vegas, Sin City, at the Phoenician. He should have said Sin City. I mean, I can help Nick write this. To announce the winners a day before the kickoff of SHOT Show, the gun industry's largest gathering. Yes. Um, Imagine the outrage if some group started trying to persuade minors that voting was dangerous or not productive. Oh, Eric Pratt of GOA. Anyhow, Gun Owners of America, yes, which bills itself as a no compromise gun lobby, sponsors the female influencer category of the. They're sponsoring the female influencer calendar, which they had no idea would include Nia or Autumn. Oh well. Um, Vice President Eric Pratt, good guy, defended marketing to minors and said that the holidays are a perfect time to purchase a gun for the child. Baller, baller. To say that we can't promote constitutional right to minors, including the right to bear arms, is nonsense, he said. Imagine the outrage if some group, all right, so here's the context, started trying to persuade minors that voting was dangerous or not productive. Amen, brother. Eric Pratt, baller. At the end of the day, those on the other side of the debate are waging this fight to demonize firearms because they illogically believe that guns are the cause of violence, which is false. You know, if you're going to close an article, amen, brother. But the tactic on writing an article like this, which is quite lengthy, is to put something like this at the end that most people will never read. Anyhow, very freaking informative about what the social media is looking to do. So, with that, folks, 5 o'clock today, we are going to have Keith, the dad of the Two A Boys and the Two A Boys, on John Crump Live. So, look for that on my channel, John's channel, at 5 p.m. today. Let me check. Let me just drag this over here, the screen over here. Whoop. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. All right. So let me remove. All right, and then do that. Let me look for the good comments. Right, right. So Gizzard Gary, surprising he's not hating on Daisy for marketing scary, realistic looking firearm devices to children. Right, right. I'm sure he's written an article like that. Uh, let's see. Yeah, yeah. Kids and neo Nazis. We're off to see the wizard. Unbelievable, these people. All right, guys, I'm gonna knock it off. I got honeydews to do, and you guys have a great freaking day. See you at 5 p.m.